passed into law in 1988, and it has made a major difference globally, including now in Nigeria. We can't take our eyes off of that. I just want to say to my colleagues, to all of us, I'm deeply concerned that Nigeria has hired the K Street lobbying firm, DCI, to the tune of $9 million, $750,000 a month. And a Nigerian billionaire, has entered into a $120,000 a month contract with Valcor to influence Congress and the executive branch. And Ambassador, you know as well as I over these many years, because you have fought this fight. They hire these firms, they come up with their very well-written talking points to say, nothing to see here. Whether it be Haiti, China does it better than anyone else, or worse really is what it is. We saw it with Romania. I remember during the years of Nicholas Ceausescu, and I led the effort on that along with Frank and you, Sam, Mr. Ambassador. And they always had these lobbying firms that said, Ceausescu's a good guy. He has all these churches that he has opened. He was torturing Christians. And the book that got me into religious freedom myself was Torture for Christ by Richard Wurmbrand, who talked about the duplicity and unfortunately, how these firms are just so good at advocating for their client. Well, advocate for freedom and end to religious persecution. I have many other things I'd say, but I want to cut it off here. And I do want to thank, again, all of you for being here. I'd like to yield to my good friend, Ranking Member Jacobs, for any comments you might have.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And thank you, all the witnesses, for testifying before the subcommittee on this important.
And then you have a situation like in Nigeria, where more Christians have been killed there than anywhere else in the world. And you have a government in Nigeria that practices denial, a culture of denial. No, nothing to see here. They even hired DCI, a big firm here in D.C.
The First Lady was here. She was here this week, and in fact, they wanted to come on the program to talk about religious freedom. And I said, I'm not going to give them. I'll meet with them. I'm happy to meet with anybody.
Same here.
But I'm not going to give them a platform to cover up what they're doing in Nigeria.
And that's just what it is, a massive cover-up. I met with a big delegation that came in, and it went for almost 2 hours. And the Attorney General of Nigeria said that this Bishop Anabe, who I had at two of my hearings, you were there.
He testified right next to me.
Right next to you. A wonderful man. He said, he's a liar. And I said, whoa, stop that, And then they always do the thing, my wife's a Christian, or I'm a Christian, and my husband, it's like, don't tell me that. What is happening as churches are being firebombed, people are being killed in cold blood, abductions, which is very, very big there in Nigeria, of Christians especially, but others, but especially Christians. And there's this assault on faith that has gotten worse. Obama did nothing. Boko Haram flourished under his 8 years in office, and now
it was your persistent advocacy that actually eventually got them labeled as a terrorist organization.
Yes. For 3 years we tried, Tony, and I had hearings on it. We had people give very, very compelling testimony as to what Boko Haram was doing, and finally, on the day we were marking up my bill to tell the administration you have to declare them a FTO, foreign terrorist organization, that day, that hour, basically, they said, they're an FTO. Yeah. And it was like 3 years ago, we could have been working to find out where their sources of funding and weapons.
Before they kidnapped many of the girls.
That's right. The Chibok girls and many of the others were all. And that continues to this day.
Let me ask you about that, Congressman Smith, because as you say that it's gotten worse, you've got these dictators and tyrants in different parts of the world. My experience when I was chairing the USERF Commission, going to different countries, is that many of these bad actors have seen what's happened in America over the last 2 decades, where we have gone from one administration that actually, like we have right now, that protects religious freedom, to one that doesn't care about religious freedom and promotes abortion and LGBTQ. Yeah. And so they just want to wait out. So we're not having that persistent, consistent presence of influence on the world.
Well, that's a very keen observation, because I have found that you even hear that from some of the diplomats when you talk to them. He'll be gone. Trump will be gone in 2 years. And then potentially could come in a very, very liberal Democrat like the governor of California, who couldn't care less about religious freedom. I remember I had hearings.
Well, it's the Democratic Party doesn't care about it.
There are many. There are
it's very clear.
Most of them don't.
You're right. But when you come comes to their priorities and their platform,
it's not there.
You don't see it there.
Right. And, we saw it with Barack Obama. I would continually say, okay, the International Religious Freedom Act, authored brilliantly by Frank Wolf, it says you must provide us with countries of particular concern, countries that are really doing bad things that can be sanctioned. And we wouldn't even get the list year in and year out.
But that legislation also says that religious freedom will be a priority in our foreign policy.
Exactly what it says. A core. Absolutely, it says that. And, it's been in effect since 1998. I'm happy to say that the Republicans have very faithfully administered it or carried it out.
So the situation over time has gotten worse.
Yeah.
We see that we have aggressive action being taken by this administration. In fact, troops being sent to Nigeria.
Yeah.
Do you know what their role will be there?
Well, in the past, there has been an attempt to try to train the Nigerian military in
hard. But we're honored to be joined today by the First Lady of Nigeria, who also happens to serve as a Christian pastor at the largest church in Nigeria, a very respected woman. First Lady, please, where are you? Thank you very much. It's a great honor. Thank you very much. Very respected person, too. Thank you. I'm also
So, the videos you watched, the first one was the U.S. congressman, or is the U.S. congressman, exposing the Nigerian lobbying effort to lobby, the image of Nigeria. They paid someone huge amount of money, $9 million US, to come and speak good of Nigeria. Maybe to make Trump to believe that there is no Christian genocide or there is no genocide going on in Nigeria. But even though even if they want, let them pay $1 billion. It's even getting worse by the just few days ago, there was massacre in Kwara State. So how much would they not pay another lobbyist to go and lobby that one? And then the other one is the U.S. radio broadcaster said he blocked the wife of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Remi Tinubu, from appearing on his radio, maybe to come and do damage control, to come and tell him that Nigeria is good, everything is good, everything is going fine, when in reality everything is not going fine. In fact, most of us believe that the lobbying effort was already working. When Remi Tinubu appeared in the dinner night, Donald Trump gave her a description that none of us expected. That she's a respected one. We know she's respected, and she's also a pastor in one of the respected churches. In fact, APC campaigners, APC sycophants started using it already. Adam Soshimole, of all people, he'll be the number one. He said he went to Aso Rock. He wants to see Mr. President. He has not seen Mr. President for the year in 2026. And that he's happy that the U.S. has now seen the blah, blah, blah. This thing, that man speaks from two sides of the mouth. So he just went to Aso Rock to see the president because he saw that President Trump commended President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's wife and the First Lady of Nigeria, Senator Remi Tinubu. So a lot is already happening. So APC government and Tinubu government is doing a lot to project a good image of Nigeria, when clearly Nigeria doesn't have that good image anymore, as long as we continue to grapple with these security issues. We know last month Donald Trump said if Nigeria government continues to allow the killing of Christians, the USA will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria and may very well go into the now disgraced country gone a-blazing. He called Nigeria a disgraced country, but it didn't look like it when he was addressing our First Lady, Senator Remi Tinubu. He called her, a respected woman, a pastor in one of the biggest churches in Nigeria, and all of that. This is what he tweeted he posted on his tweet social. He said that if Nigerian government continues to allow killing of Christians, the USA will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria and may very well go into the now disgraced country gone a-blazing to completely wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible atrocities. He said, "I am hereby instructing our Department of War to prepare for possible action. If we attack, it will be fast, vicious, and sweet, just like the terrorist thugs attack our cherished Christians. Warning, the Nigerian government better move fast." That was how Donald Trump passed his message to Nigeria. And as if that was not enough, this is actually the second message he was sending in that regard. The first one he posted, he said, Christianity is facing an existential threat in Nigeria. Thousands of Christians are being killed. Radical Islamists are responsible for this manslaughter. I am hereby making Nigeria a country of particular concern. That was actually the first tweet or the first dust Donald Trump raised about Nigeria. He declared Nigeria a country of particular concern. And that didn't stop there. Nigeria was placed on travel ban. Some of these people that wanted to travel to USA, on work permit, study permit, you want to go to USA, or visitor visit, and all of that, B1, B2 visa, they are all placed on travel ban. So the ban is still there. He said, but that is the least of it. When Christians or any such group is slaughtered like is happening in Nigeria, 3,100 versus 4,476 worldwide, something must be done. I'm asking Congressman Riley Moore, together with Chairman Tom Cole and House Appropriations Committee, to immediately look into the matter and report back to me. The United States cannot stand by while such atrocities is happening in Nigeria and numerous other countries. So these are the tweets that he made last month or last 2 months that, caused an uproar in the country. And then guess what the Nigerian government resorted to doing? They resorted to doing damage control. In fact, the worst they did was to pay a lobbyist to go and convince Trump that everything is going well. This is how the business they puts it. Nigeria hires lobbying firm for $9 million to communicate Christian protection efforts to USA. You could imagine that. Then this is how the cable puts it. Nigerian businessman hires lobbying firm for $720,000 to strengthen US-Nigeria bilateral relationship. So this is how the business they put it. Nigeria hires lobbying firm for $9 million to communicate Christian protection efforts to the US. Then I think I didn't get a Premium Times. Premium Times got a report on that as well. So, they did all this to make sure that to convince Trump that, there's no longer Christian genocide. Bandits have been disarmed. Boko Haram has been disarmed. This is not true. These bandits, terrorists, Boko Haram, they are wielding arms that the Nigerian men in the Nigerian armed forces don't even have, because they are getting external support. When this whole thing started, so many Tinubu boys, APC jobless people, political psychopaths said that Trump is coming for our oil. Is coming. If he needed oil, everyone now is now convinced that Trump doesn't need Nigerians' oil. You see what he did to Venezuelan president when they took him, and the man is in jail now in USA. So if he really needed oil, Venezuela is closer to him than Nigeria, and we have seen how he played the game. He made Venezuela to dance to his tune, to his music. So he's not coming for Nigeria's oil. But then to even make it worse, Nigerian government paid lobbyists to lobby the image of the country. So they are interested in what Donald Trump has got to say about Nigeria than the insecurity challenges the country is facing right now. If you look at the charts, so many people have already, if I'm not mistaken, close to 1,000 people have already been killed in this new year 2026. So you would imagine how many that will be killed before the year runs off. So it's a long year for this government of APC. Their lobbying efforts have failed. Now it's already in US Congress. They have discovered that they have paid lobbyists, and it's not even just that. You could see also that these radio broadcasters in USA, they made sure that this woman, our First Lady, did not appear on their radio station because they know she was going to come there. In fact, just the little commendation President Trump gave her, she was already saying that Nigerian politicians are respected abroad, but disrespected at home. How are they respected abroad? When they loot all the public funds and go and deposit in banks abroad, why would they be respected? Business is all about interest. So when they loot our public funds, ensure that we don't succeed, as youngsters, as graduates. They loot the coffers dry, and then they go and invest it in maybe businesses abroad. Why wouldn't they be respected? Why wouldn't they be valued? So they impoverish us and then go there to enrich themselves and their generation. So she was already using it, possibly a kind of do campaign, possibly using it to do damage control. So it's a long year for APC government, and 2027 is just around the corner. But this is kind of also a disgrace, an embarrassment. In fact, I saw a lot of people saying that imagine President Trump commending our First Lady and the cameraman could not even show us her face. We don't know if she was there, present at that dinner night, or the lobbyist, did worked overtime to ensure that something good is said about Nigeria. Because if First Lady was there, the moment Trump, was commending her, a respected woman, a pastor in one of the biggest churches in Nigeria, the cameraman, you know how many cameras that will be at the ground where the strongest man, strongest president, of the whole world is giving public address. Do you know how many cameras will be there? And yet, no camera was able to capture where she was. In fact, Trump had to put his hand on his head, on his face, to see if he could scan through the crowd to see her. He did not, and the camera did not show her. So we could, for me, I'm left to conclude through an assumption that she wasn't there. It was a lobbyist who was paid for the job, and he did it so well. But it failed, because now the U.S. Congress, they are aware of the lobbying effort. They are aware of the amount that have been paid to lobbyists. So everything that they are trying to say now or publish about Nigeria, about the security issue, is a failed project. Maybe they should try another effort. They should try another scheme to convince President Trump that there is no genocide here, there is, that there is no killing of Christians here, there is no killing of Muslims here, there is.